Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a brand new episode of the John Drummond Hoops podcast. I don't know if I want to call this a podcast or a show because I'm not going to be doing an hour and a half episode. Like maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes, just talking pure hoops. And we got some topics for y'all today. I mean, we're only really going to be talking about the Suns and maybe the Timberwolves just for a little bit. But I want to talk about the Suns and what's next for them coming into the offseason, because if you guys do not know, the Suns were just swept last night. They lost on their home floor. Once again, Devin Booker had about 45 points. I think Kevin Durant had 29 to 33, something like that. But now I just want to talk about what do they do if they decide to blow it up, or what do they do if they decide to keep their core three. And first off, I just want to say I am so happy that the big three era in basketball is over, or the top heavy era in the NBA is over, because I think the Phoenix Suns just showed that this is not a thing anymore. You need continuity in an NBA team to win a championship. So that's the type of NBA that I like. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we kind of know what the finals is going to be, but we don't really know. When in that Kevin Durant and Steph Curry versus LeBron era, we knew what the finals were going to be for like 4 or 5 years. So that's something I'm very excited about, just switching into a new gear of the NBA basketball. And we're starting to see these young players become the players we thought they were going to be. Luka Doncic, Anthony Edwards, SGA, Jaylen Brown, and Jason Tatum. I mean, these guys are really taking over the NBA. And look at John Morant. When he comes back, he's going to be in that conversation as well. Jalen Brunson, so we're starting to shift into a new gear and a new era of basketball, and I cannot wait. Victor Wembanyama is going to be in this talk soon. I mean, it's exciting, and the league is definitely in good hands. So that is something that is beautiful. We got a lot of guys that love the sport, that are very passionate about it, and willing to give their blood, sweat, and tears for the game, and that's all I can really ask for. So after going on that rant, I kind of want to talk about the Phoenix Suns losing 4-0 to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Devin Booker had a great night last night, but it was just too little too late. I mean, the attitude towards this team with Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker, it was just lackadaisical. It wasn't any urgency. I mean, they were down 0-2, about to be down 0-3, and Bradley Beal is on the sideline laughing. There's no hustle plays. There's no guy that's going to go down and die for the basketball. There needs to be that type of brand of ball, or there's not going to be any winning. Can't everybody be Hollywood? And I thought Bradley Beal was going to be the guy be like, look, I'm not the number one option anymore. I'm the third option. So I'm going to work on getting back to that good defensive player that I was, maybe average about 18, 19 points per game. But instead, the shot selection's terrible. He missed half the season, and his attitude's terrible. And I think that comes with Kevin Durant not being a leader. I'm not here just to bag on Kevin Durant, but I'm just calling it how I see. Because when we saw LeBron-led teams, there was always that guy that would fall into that role. Even though they were a number one on their previous team, there was always that guy to fall in that role, whether it be Chris Bosh or Kevin Love. And Kevin Durant could not get Bradley Beal to do that. I don't know if Kevin Durant asked Bradley Beal to do that, but there has to be that one player, who is way more talented than what the numbers show. But if you look at everything and if you watch film, you can understand how big of an impact he is on the floor. Kevin Love, we knew how big of an impact he was on the floor because he was a great rebounder and he could stretch the floor. Chris Bosh, great rebounder, could stretch the floor. And when one of those two guys were off, he still had the talent to pick it up on his end. So that's one thing I wanted to talk about. And I did not like the Bradley Beal trade coming in from the beginning. I mean, we saw against the Nuggets that depth was the issue, and you have guys like Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton who could have gotten some solid quality pieces off the bench and a real point guard. I think it could have been the off-ball game of Devin Booker and Kevin Durant running off-ball at the same time could have been one of the most dangerous offenses in the league. You did not need to go get Bradley Beal, because now you're paying him $50 million, and I'm sure there's not 5 teams that want Bradley Beal. With the contract and him only barely playing half of the season, there's not 5 NBA teams that want Bradley Beal. Not saying he's a bad player, but he is not worth his contract right now. He's just not. So that's something that's going to have to be figured out. If I am the GM of the Phoenix Suns, we don't have any first round picks till 2030. So we're going to have to figure something out. We're going to have to draft a point guard. We're going to have to let Grayson Allen walk because we need some type of money. We're going to have to go get a lot of vet minimum guys. Guys I like, Jeff Green, somebody who could come in, do the dirty work. Pat Bev, I don't think he's going to play with Kevin Durant, or who knows. But those vet minimum guys or guys like Cam Reddish, guys who are fighting for rotation spots and fighting for a spot in this league. That's what I think is the best way to build around a team like the Phoenix Suns, who are built around a lot of money. Get some guys who are fighting for a spot in the NBA. Cam Reddish, he's going to play his tail off on defense, and he's going to give you everything he has on offense. Killian Hayes, a guy that has been released at the trade deadline and hasn't seen a job since being released. That's the type of guy that you would have to sign that's going to give 115%. Whether you're up 30 against the Hornets, he's going to be playing as hard as he possibly can, because he knows if he does not play well, he could not have a job. So I feel like those are the type of players that you go get around a Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal, because the three of them are making more money than a lot of NBA teams put together, a lot of NBA rosters put together. So you're not going to go get the expensive role players. You know, KCP is he has a deal coming up. He's going to get paid. Jonas Valanciunas has a deal coming up. He's going to get paid. You're not going to be able to pay guys like that. You know, if anybody wants Yusuf Nurkic, give him up. You know, you need those type of guys who are going to go out and fight for a spot in the NBA, because that's what you need. You don't have that. And I don't see Kevin Durant diving for loose balls. You know, I don't see him spending a whole quarter trying to lock down the best player. I don't see that from Devin Booker. I don't see that from Bradley Beal. And I feel like that is the best way. Get a true point guard. Get a true point guard. I saw a stat on NBA University. Shout out to NBA University on Twitter. The Minnesota Timberwolves average 19.8 points off of turnovers per game. The Minnesota Timberwolves are the best defense in the league, and you do not have a true point guard to facilitate plays. You're not going to win giving up 20 points per game off of turnovers. You're not going to be able to do it, especially when this is already the best team in the league, and they can shut you down in strings of 3 or 4 possessions. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You need to get a point guard. You need to get a point guard. As far as Kevin Durant not feeling as though he was not utilized properly in the offense, I can completely understand that, because there is times where Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal are just sitting in the corner. And it's like, okay, Book, it's your turn. Okay, KD, it's your turn. Okay, Beal, it's your turn. You know, and that's what the Timberwolves wanted. They wanted that. They invited that. Like, look, we want the one-on-ones. We're not going to help. You're going to beat us off isolation basketball. And that is not a thing in 2024. It's not a thing anymore. It's not a thing. So it's a lot of things going into the Phoenix Suns that is going to have to be thought about in the offseason. And if you are going to blow it up, you don't have any first round picks. So you need to be getting some type of talent. You don't have any first round picks. If I'm the Suns, I'm hitting up OKC. I want Casey Wallace, and I want 4 or 5 first round picks for Kevin Durant. I saw that on the Joel Moran show. Really agree with it. I think Casey Wallace is a hell of a player. We're going to talk about that more in another video, maybe tomorrow. And for Devin Booker, there are plenty of spots that Devin Booker can go to. I like him on the Pelicans. You know, you go get a guy like Trey Murphy and CJ McCollum to make the money work. And then you get a 2025 Bucks first round pick. You have other things that you can throw into that trade to make it work, but you have to either get Trey Murphy or Herb Jones out of the deal. You have to get one of the two. If I'm the Suns, I don't want Brandon Ingram. Oh, well, no, because you don't have your own first round pick. You don't have your own first round pick. So, hey, give me Brandon Ingram. Give me Brandon Ingram. I'll take Brandon Ingram. So, another team I like for Devin Booker, the Magic. I'll take Franz Wagner and Jet Howard. If I got Case and Wallace, give me Franz Wagner and Jet Howard for Devin Booker and some picks. Another team I like, the New York Knicks. I don't necessarily know how that trade is going to work, but I just like Devin Booker in New York. So it's a lot of assets. I mean, there's not a team in the NBA that would say no to Devin Booker. There's not a team in the NBA. All 32 teams could use Devin Booker. All 30 teams could use Devin Booker. KD is the harder one because it's a lot of teams that aren't going to want KD. Well, not a lot. There are a lot of teams that would welcome KD with open arms, but you're not going to get as much back due to the age factor, and you want to trade KD now before his value drops because he's getting to that age where a bad season could come at any minute. So you want to trade him before it becomes too late. and then you're getting pennies on the dollar of what you could have gotten this offseason. Because Kevin Durant is still a great player. Still a great player. You cannot take that from him. So, in my opinion, I just think it's not realistic to trade Kevin Durant and Devin Booker this offseason. Once again, it is Kevin Durant. He can ask out of Phoenix right now. But I think if you don't have any first round picks till 2030, you have to make this team work. You are stuck. You are stuck until you get a first round pick. So the Suns are probably going to be a play-in to 6 seed contender for the next 4 or 5 years. As long as they still have Devin Booker and Bradley Beal, and if Kevin Durant sticks around for another 4 or 5 years, they're going to be a play-in to 6 seed type of team for a while because they don't have any first round picks. They can't go pick anybody up. You are stuck with this big three. Anyway, my wife just made dinner, so I'm going to get to that. I hope you guys like this video. If you guys like this type of content, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'm out.